How many?
110.
That's good enough. Okay, we're going to get started now. And by the way, everyone should be muted. And if you do have a question, I want you to type it into the chat. I'm going to speak for a couple of minutes, then Mr. Dwyer will come up also. But since the size of this is 110 people, let's not have you guys talk and just type in the question. Or of course, if you have questions after the meeting, you could email one of us. So the first big thing we want to talk about is the NHS elections. And we need to have these as soon as possible. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to explain the positions that you can run for it if you're interested in. Then Mr. Dwyer is going to come up and he's going to talk about the process of the election. But one thing, you're in the Schoology page. All of the resources for the NHS can be found there. There is a website. There are documents about points and projects. We don't want to get into that too much right now, but you can always go in there and look around, okay, at what it means to be in the NHS. So let's talk about the positions. First of all, on the executive board, there are 9 people who will eventually be in the NHS homeroom, which is with Mr. Dwyer and myself in room 163 every morning. The first position, of course, is the president. And the president obviously oversees the entire, really runs the NHS with the help of myself and Mr. Dwyer. One of the big responsibilities of the president is the president has to run the induction in the spring, meaning they kind of MC the whole night. Throughout the year, their job is to run the meetings, to have an agenda that gets approved by myself and Mr. Dwyer, and helps the other officers do their jobs, make sure they're doing their jobs. So let's look at the other positions. So we have president and we have vice president. The big job of the vice president is to run the NHS tutoring program, which, again, when we're back in school, will happen in the, what's that called? Is it the Cardinal room?
Forum.
The forum room. No, the upstairs. The Cardinal room where the NHS tutoring program goes on. And that's really the big job. That will actually be the project of the vice president also. The next position is the secretary. The secretary is one of the most important executive positions. The secretary's job is to keep track of the entire NHS, the projects they're doing, if they're completed, and also their points. When you do a service activity, the secretary will record that to make sure you get credit for it. Very important position. You need to have good communication skills and also good with Google Sheets and Google Docs. The next position is communications. Obviously, just from the name communications, your job is going to be to post different projects, post announcements, help other NHS members when they do have a project or a point opportunity if they need help, communicate with their homeroom announcements and also through Schoology. The next executive position is the treasurer. If someone's doing a project that is collecting money for a charity, the treasurer makes sure that money gets turned into the school and make sure it gets to the eventual charity. So say you're doing a project that you're going to raise a couple $100 for the Ambler food cupboard. Okay, the money goes to Upper Dublin High School through the treasurer. Then the treasurer writes the check that goes to the Ambler food cupboard. Okay, so we don't want students handling money. So they're the 5 positions. The last 4 are delegates. There are 4 delegates who they will be assigned to help each one of the executive positions. So if you run for delegate, you may be working with the vice president, the secretary, the treasurer, and so forth. And that'll be 4 of those. So probably not the best explanation of all of the positions. So if you have questions, obviously you can put them in the chat now, or you can email myself or Mr. Dwyer with more specifics. So now I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Dwyer, who's going to talk about how we're going to virtually run this election and how you can nominate yourself to run for a position.
Okay, so the plan here is, I'm echoing, sorry. There we go. So the plan with these elections, again, Mr. Greenberg just explained the different positions.
What we would like you to do.
So what we would like you to do, if interested in those positions, the process is you would email Mr. Greenberg and myself.
Subject line of your email,
NHS elections, and put your position that you are interested in. Right? So if it's president, just put NHS elections dash president. Right? That way we can kind of organize our emails a little more effectively. In that email, you're just declaring that you want to run for a specific office, why you feel you're qualified, and why you want that position. So it's just a quick statement. We don't need a full paper on this point. We just need a quick
the expectation is
what we want from there after we organize. The expectation is you will be compiling a video for everyone to watch. You'll put together a quick video, and we'll get back on the exact lengths and things of that nature when we respond to your emails. But you'll put together a video. We'll publish that to the rest of the NHS for elections, and you'll have, we'll specify everything in the school page, but you have a set amount of time to watch the videos, and then you'll vote on a Google Doc in which all votes will be recorded. So everyone will get the opportunity to vote. You'll all have the opportunity to look at those videos, and then we'll alert you of the outcome of those elections. So it's a pretty straight process. It's not that difficult. But the first step in the process, you need to alert us that you are going to run for a particular office. And so please do that, as quickly as you can. We'd like to get those elections, underway and moving in the next couple of weeks. And so if you are interested, please let us know that. Virtually, we're kind of working on what expectations will be, but when we get back in the building, we'll be in homeroom every morning, and we'll talk about what those expectations and necessary jobs are.
Apologize. We were echoing the whole time there, Mr. Dwyer. Thanks for pointing that out to me. But by the way, this Zoom meeting is being recorded right now, and it will be posted up online as soon as we can do that for the students who couldn't make it. But obviously not the ideal situation. We missed out on induction back in March. We're going to figure that out a little bit later also. But on the web page for the NHS, it explains what the requirements are to stay in the NHS. You have to do points in the first semester, points in the second semester, and a service project overall. All your service projects have to be approved by us in advance. The big question we get, and the answer is yes. Your service project can be the same as the, community study? Culminating project. But it just needs to be approved by us so we know that's happening. We don't deal with culminating at all. We deal with the NHS project. There are forms online about how to get it approved, and again, the same with points. But again, we're in 10 years of doing this, we're trying to figure out how to do everything virtually, and I'm sure there'll be some mistakes, but we will work together to get through them. Again, you've been on camera all day. I don't feel like sitting here talking to you, but if you have anyone have any questions, you can put into the chat for the good of everyone right now. So do
they understand how to submit? Because it seems like the whole time I was talking, they missed it.
Do you guys understand how so I'm looking at my screen right now. Emily Senior wants to run for office. She's going to send Mr. Dwyer or me an email in the subject. It's going to say, I want to be a delegate. Okay. Then in the body of the email, it'll be a little paragraph explanation of why you would be a good delegate, why we think we should let you run. After we compile all those, we'll send everyone who's running for president an email. Your speech has to be this long. This is what you want to focus on. Okay, we'll get everything together, and then we will vote online. Hopefully that was in a nutshell what Mr. Dwyer said. Again, apologize for the echoing. And anybody else have any questions at all? Nobody? Going once, going twice. Please email if you have questions. We will respond. All right, listen, you can leave now. I will stay on here for a couple of minutes if anybody has any questions. Thank you very much, and we'll get back to you when the election's going to be.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye, Mr. Dwyer. Bye, Mr. Dwyer.
I actually do have a question. It's just more of like a me question, so I didn't think
Sure.
of everyone. If we're on an SGA steering committee, are we allowed to run for NHS or no?
Are you in the SGA homeroom?
Yes.
Then you cannot run for anything on the NHS.
Unfortunate. Okay. Bye, Mr. Dwyer. Thank you.
OS.
Aiden, you have a question?
No, I think that's all. Thank you so much.
Have a good
I
day.
can email you about the NHS project. I'm wrapping up my culminating project, so I'm hoping that will double. It's dealing with service, so I'll tell you more about it in a subsequent email. But
All right,
thank
thank
you so
you.
much. I'm sorry?
Thank you.
Yeah, I'll see you soon. Bye.